Hello friends, and welcome back to our little coffee club. All right, so today's goal will be to review the coffee that I have over here. We're gonna pull a shot of espresso on the Flair 58 today. We're gonna do a blooming shot on the Flair 58 with this coffee. I'll guess at the tasting notes and review it for you guys. But we're also gonna make filtered coffee. We're gonna do filtered coffee with the coffee I reviewed last weekend. So we'll do a filter coffee with this one, then we'll pull a shot of espresso and review the other coffee. If you are here for the first time or you wanna fast forward to when we actually start brewing the coffee, I'll give you a timestamp right here. Go to the timestamp and that's when the brewing actually begins. But as you can see, I have quite a bit of items up here with me because I want to report back on a couple of different things. And if you've been watching all of the videos, this is something that might interest you. If not, and you don't care to hear about any of these items, just go to the timestamp and it's when we actually start brewing the coffee. All right, so I want to report back as to a few items here. Let's just start this way. So I want to report back on the Starbucks Veranda blend. I have brewed it as filter coffee by now. You should have seen that. I brewed it as filter coffee. I brewed it as espresso. I gave you a review as to this coffee. From the Starbucks usual coffees that you find all year round, all the time, this is by far my favorite one. The Veranda blend, or what they call their blonde roast, is my favorite one. It's, I would call it like a true medium, and it's light enough that, a lot of people will be able to appreciate this coffee. It's easy to drink, it's nice and sweet. Don't look for any acidity as to this coffee. It's not gonna give you any acidity. So for those of you that don't like acidity, this will be perfect. I find it really tasty for making milk drinks. But I can also pull a straight shot of espresso, or even every now and then I will enjoy it also as a filter coffee, as a pour over. Again, I'll be lacking on the upfront acidity. It won't have it, but it's a nice sweet cup and easy to drink. So I recommend this for sure. I also recently reviewed this Bright, what they call Bright from Blue Bottle Coffee. This is something you can also find practically anywhere. This came from the supermarket. You might keep your eyes out at the supermarket and you might be able to find this coffee. This is right up there with Starbucks. It is specialty coffee. I would call it like second tier. It's not like a really high-end kind of specialty coffee like what you see there at the end of the counter. But again, this is gonna cost you about half the price. So a bag of this, maybe it's gonna run you around $14, something like that. The Starbucks Veranda blend, same thing, about 14 bucks. The Dunkin' you can find as little as like maybe $10. You know that the Dunkin' original regular roast is usually my daily driver. I have to say that this one from Blue Bottle, it's better. So I'm gonna kind of call it that this is, at least this bag, man, was very tasty. I'm pretty sure the Blue Bottle keeps it fairly consistent, the same like Dunkin', the same like Starbucks, where you're gonna get this kind of similar quality all the time. So I'm gonna say this is not by a large margin. The taste profile is similar to the Dunkin'. It does have the upfront acidity, just like the Dunkin', but I have to say this is a little bit better. The Veranda blend, again, tasty coffee, good daily driver as well if you don't want acidity. So yeah, that's that. So I reported back as to all of that. The next thing, let's talk about this and why this is up here. I recently recorded a video where I brewed on the April. I was brewing that really expensive coffee from DAC. The little tin, okay, the Panama Geisha, and it stalled on me. And some of you guys you guys pointed out that perhaps what happened and why it stalled is because there is a seal between the brewer and the cup. And because you're adding liquid into it, the air has to escape. So because the air is not having an easy time to escape, perhaps it's what's stalling the brew. That made a lot of sense. But I had never seen that happen before. It's the very first time it ever had stalled on me like this, especially since the April is a fast brewer. So I did look into that because it made a lot of sense and I said I would report back. All right, so it turns out that there's not a perfect seal here. There is, you see how these are slotted? This is slotted here. there is air, there is quite a gap where the air can escape easily. Okay, so there's not a good seal. No matter how I place this on the cup, it will always have one of these areas where it will have a hole and the air can escape. So it's not making a tight enough seal that would cause that to happen. So definitely what happened here was the filters. And those filters, maybe we'll talk about that on another video. As a matter of fact, maybe what we'll do is compare one of those filters to Severus, because I have some Severus filters I have never used on the channel. Okay, so let me show you something. Okay, so let me put this off to the side. But this is the April brewer. When I ordered this brewer, I ordered it from, I think it was Slow Pour that I ordered this from. I ordered the brewer and 2 boxes of the April filters, but the April filters ran out. So let me show you that. Give me a second. Okay, push that off to the side. Okay, so what's in here now, I'm using the little box because it just kind of holds them together and they don't fall and make a mess in the cabinet. So I just been using the little box. But these filters are Kalita filters. And I'm not sure which Kalita filters I ordered, but these things are so slow, so slow. I have already tried to brew again on there and it stalled again. Although I went even coarser, it just stalled again. These are the slowest filters I've ever seen. I have to, maybe again, when we revisit this, we'll compare this to the Severus. It's gonna be like ridiculous, but we'll do that. And yeah, so these are not the April filters anymore. These are Kalita filters. There's something going on with these things. Incredibly slow. We'll do that fun comparison coming up on the channel. So we'll compare these really slow filters to Severus and see what the time difference is. But yeah, so definitely the time that it stalled, it was the filters. All right, now let's talk about the next item, the Pietro. So I finally received it. Let's open the box. I've already brewed with it like 3 times. They shipped it with the stand. I haven't used the stand. As a matter of fact, I don't even see a point, like, yeah, maybe it'll be easier. Okay, I'll probably use the stand. But as of yet, I haven't used it. I thought it would be even harder to use. Yes, the form factor is ridiculous. I don't know who came up with this. You know, I love my Italian brothers and sisters. I do love them. I really love Italy and everything that has to do. They invented espresso. How can you not love Italy? So, among other things, right? But yeah, I love my Italian brothers and sisters, but man, they love to overcomplicate things. This is way overly engineered. I'm sure there's gotta be an easier way to make this product to where it's easier to grind with. But that being said, it is, you know, easier than what people make it seem to be when you watch videos. It's not that bad, okay? So today we'll actually, when we do the filter coffee, we'll brew with this. So let me get it out of the box. Of course, I ordered the white one to keep the theming going. The only black sheep in the family is the Flair 58, which, by the way, we'll be pulling a shot on the Flair 58 today. So yeah, a blooming espresso on the Flair coming up. All right, so you see the box here. Okay, so the Pietro. I've brewed with it already about 3 times. I think today will be my 4th time brewing with it. I'm at 70 clicks. So, you know, I think it has like 90 clicks, and I'm pretty sure you could just keep going around. But I'm at 70 clicks, and this is the kind of coarseness where it's kind of similar to the niche duo at maybe like grind size 55. But because it is producing less fines, and I mean, it's noticeable. You could see it. The grind that comes out of this is very uniform. And today you'll see. But it is a noticeable difference. As far as taste, well, we're gonna do the comparison. And my first comparison that I plan on doing with the Pietro is gonna be the Pietro versus the Niche Zero, which you couldn't be like. The Niche Zero is known for producing a lot of fines and very gooey coffee, beautiful espresso shots. I love it for espresso. This can't even make espresso. It doesn't have enough fines, and it cannot go fine enough to pull the shot of espresso. So very uniform. highly regarded in the industry and with coffee hobbyists for producing some of the most clear cups of coffee, the most clarity and flavor separation that there is. And I'm gonna compare it versus the Niche Zero, which is known to produce a very blended kind of cup. I'm gonna dial in the coffee, okay? I'm gonna dial in one of the coffees I have on hand now to where I get the same timing from the Niche Zero as I get from the Pietro. And then I'm gonna taste it. And all I'm looking for is a difference. So far, I've done a few grinder comparisons here on the channel, and I've never been able to taste a clear difference between grinders. It just tastes the same to me. I'm not saying there is no difference. I'm saying I cannot taste the difference. So maybe it's just something I'm not capable of, okay? So you guys have seen me taste coffee. And as a matter of fact, let's talk about that. The very last coffee I reviewed, this one here, you know, at the time of recording, I did not think I had done very well at guessing at the tasting notes and figuring out what the taste profile of the coffee is. And then at the time of editing, when I looked up what bergamot is, and I saw that it is a citrus and exactly what I was tasting and what I kept saying, I had just forgotten what that was. I was confusing it for that spice, what's the other stuff called? Again, I don't remember. I'll look it up, I'll put it here. So I was confusing these two words. They're a little bit similar. I'm not familiar with either one of these two things. So, but I have seen them in tasting notes in coffee, and therefore I can kind of recognize these things, but I didn't remember what was what, and if I didn't even remember this thing was a citrus. So I kept saying, no, this to me tastes citrusy. I don't care what it says in the bag. And it turns out it is a citrus, and I was right on point. And if you watch the last video, the video previous to this one, I guessed at the tasting notes here, and I did extremely well. So I'm pretty good at guessing at tasting notes and at tasting coffee by now. Okay, you guys have seen me do it over and over here. Sometimes I'm wrong, but a lot of times, more often than not, I'm pretty darn close. So it's not like my taste buds are broken. In the beginning, when I started making all the coffee videos, I thought, well, maybe my taste buds are broken. Obviously, they're not. I can taste just fine, okay? I'm doing pretty well here. So if I cannot taste any difference or very little, and at that point, I'm just attributing it to placebo or perhaps the way that the coffee brewed the one particular time, maybe even the handful of beans you grabbed out of the bag that time, they just happen to taste a little different than the other hand of, full of beans. Like, I'm sure that every bean in a bag of coffee doesn't even come from the same tree. It's maybe not even from the same farm. Who knows, right? So they're not all gonna taste the same, is my point. So perhaps the difference is in that. Perhaps the difference is in the way the water flowed through the grounds that one particular time or whatever other. There's so many factors, so many variables. Anything could be causing a tiny difference. It might not be the burst. So if I can't taste any difference between this and the zero, I'm kind of giving up on this whole thing about flavor separation and can you taste a big difference? I don't know, maybe some people can, but at that point, how big of a difference, right? Is it worth it? First of all, buying this thing, is it worth it? But probably not. This thing says like $450. Are you kidding me? The Niche Zero is definitely worth it. It's a beast of a grinder. I love it. Makes great gooey shots of espresso. You can use it for filter. If I can't taste the difference, then what's the point? Okay, I don't even need to do the grinding. It's beautiful, at least to me. It's built like a tank. Nothing ever goes wrong with it. The workflow is phenomenal. It's just awesome. I love it. You guys know how I'm a big time niche fanboy, especially the Niche Zero. So the Niche Zero costs like $100 more than this. Well worth it. Well worth it. Come on, man. All right, listen, maybe there is a noticeable difference and then I'll report on that. So that's coming up on the channel soon. Stick around, join us here. We'd love to have you. But I think without further ado, today, again, we're gonna start with filter coffee. With the coffee I reviewed last week, which I think is this one, and then, or this, whatever, whichever one. But I don't have my glasses on, so yeah, at this point, I can't remember, whatever. Today we'll do filter coffee with the one I reviewed last week, which I pulled espresso, and then we'll pull espresso with the other bag and review it. Maybe next time I'll revisit the other bag as filter coffee. And anyway, let's take it over to the other counter and get this show on the road. By now I've been recording this clip probably like 15 minutes. Some people are triggered. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Anyway, at least I gave you the timestamp. Let's take it over to the other counter.
I've been giving you the worst of me. Now you wanna stay the night. Pretty how you work hard for me. Why forgetting how to talk? Nah, I don't like no humble beats. Just go and spice it up. Now it's time to marry me. And right after we're done, I like it when you're looking like that. I like it when you check. I like it when you're looking like that.
All right, so we are back to our usual kind of edited videos after maybe, I think I did like 3 that were less edited, kind of more like a live type of video, and catching up on some of my workflow. And now I'm back up to where I need to be to feel comfortable with my workflow as to my video production. So yeah, today is back to our usual kind of programming. So our main goal today is gonna be to review this coffee here. We'll pull a shot of espresso, a blooming espresso on the Flair 58. So the Flair is getting up to temperature. But we are going to start by doing a filter coffee of the one I reviewed last week, which is this coffee. We pulled a shot of espresso last time. Today we'll do filter coffee. And for the first time here on the channel, we're going to grind it on the new Pietro grinder. Like I said, I already used it about 3 times. I think today is my 4th time brewing with it. And I have it at grind size 70 clicks. That's giving me kind of like the grind looks similar to what I get from the Niche Duo, which is what I usually was using for my filter coffee and my pour overs at a grind size of 55 on the Duo. So again, when you look at the grinds themselves, what comes out of this is noticeably different than what comes out of the Duo. The grind is very uniform, and you could kind of see that. I was surprised to be able to kind of see that, and the amount of fines that you see in the, in the ground coffee, it is noticeably less. So, is that going to translate to a difference in taste and in flavor? Well, who knows? Stick around for that. Now, as to me saying that this thing is a bit like overly engineered and kind of more maybe the form factors like really like crazy, like yes, absolutely. But that being said, it is easier to use than what you see a lot of other YouTubers saying, and like they don't know how to hold it. I mean, it's not that bad. Okay, so I found it, not too bad. When you grind something darker, it's a lot easier, obviously, than when you grind a light roast like this. So with this, you're gonna get stuck every now and then as you're grinding, but it's not a big deal, and it's not that hard. It's actually very smooth. Okay, so versus the K Plus takes more effort, but it's just easier to hold and easier to use, like way easier. But this is smoother and like nicer. The grind is not as like, I don't know, it's hard to, this is like smoother. It's the only way I can explain it. Yeah. But yeah, holding it and stuff. Another thing is this is very heavy. I'm surprised. It's heavier than what I imagined. It's quite a like chunky, like solid, it's all metal. It's like very well built. And again, I think people exaggerate when you see people using it on YouTube videos. It's not that bad. All right, so we're gonna do 12 grams as a filter coffee. I'm gonna start the kettle, and let's dose out 12 grams. We're gonna do 12 grams in, 180 grams out. My usual amount when I want to do both filter coffee and espresso. So 12 grams in and 180 grams out is a 1:15 ratio. Is usually where I like to start with coffees. Maybe now this coffee is going to be almost impossible to over extract. You can pretty much brew this probably as long as you want, and it's not going to get bitter. It depends how much acidity you want. I think for me, maybe 3.5 minutes is a good amount of time for this to brew. So I'm thinking to go down to even maybe 60 clicks. Again, I don't know, because it's the first time I'm brewing this particular coffee and with this grinder. So, but from the experience I have gotten on it so far, I think on the Origami, with a good, I can maybe control with the agitation, the timing, and perhaps 60 clicks is gonna give me around 3 minutes, and 3 to maybe even 3.5 minutes. But again, you can brew this for 5 minutes. It's probably not gonna, it's not gonna over extract. It's just, there's a lot of acidity in this coffee and it's very lightly roasted. So yeah. So let's dose out 12 grams and we're gonna check retention. As we always do on this channel, we always check retention. So even on hand grinders. All right, let me refocus. Again, this video by now is probably over 20 minutes already, just over 20 minutes, and we're not even started brewing yet. So this is gonna, this is gonna be a long one. So you know what? I think this is a good point for me to add the, the timestamp when we're just pretty much getting ready to start brewing. So, so yeah, I'm just saying that so that I can add the timestamp right here. Okay, wow, okay, I just cracked this open and you just get blasted with the beautiful fragrance that this coffee has. It just smells so good. Wow, it's freaking delicious. Again, I did very well at guessing at the tasting notes on this coffee. I did a lot better than when I was recording. I didn't realize I had done so well. And because this bergamot is a type of citrus, kind of like limes. And yeah, I was getting definitely citrus notes from this coffee, very apparent to me. And since I didn't remember what this was, I thought it was some kind of fruit or something. I'm like, man, this to me. And then you see melon, orange blossom, and honey. So I thought that this indicates a lot more like fruitiness other than, and not so much citrus, but this is definitely citrus. If you want to taste a coffee and you never had maybe something like very citrus forward, this is a good one to try. It's not over, like I've had some that have been very much like grapefruit, and that's just, the acidity is just too high for me. This is just borderline to where it's still very nice and very well balanced with the sweetness, but very citrusy. You'll notice it. So if you've never had a really nice citrusy coffee, this could be a real good one to try, this Ethiopian. Okay, so we have exactly 12 grams. Let's grind this. See if we, I've been getting a tiny retention from the Pietro, but again, it's new. So, okay, I already started off to a bad start here. Had 3 beans fly out. Okay, there we go. Again, I'm still trying to get used to this thing. We're gonna check retention, so. But I do need to make room somehow so you guys could see me grinding. Put this off, put that off to the side there. Okay, let me see, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of go backwards. Yeah, I've been grinding it like this, but then you guys can't really see what's going on that much. I am left-handed anyway, so I hadn't tried this way, guys. I think I will use the stand eventually, but yeah, it's not that bad. All right, I will edit that so that it it took me like a good, I don't know, I'll look and put the time that it took me here. But yeah, it took me I imagine like a good minute or so, which is a bit much. But again, because of the form factor, you just kind of have to go slow, but it's really not that difficult and it's very smooth. But yeah, I don't know how they came up with this design. Okay, let's check the retention. Let me switch this back out. Let me see if I can lock the focus. You guys should be able to see the numbers there. Yeah, you should be able to see the numbers on the scale there. Let's see, we had 12 grams. And we have exactly 12 grams. So the first, again, this is like the fourth time that I grind on this. The first 3 times I did have a little bit of retention, but right now it's the fourth time and I'm getting no retention at all. 12 grams in, 12 grams out. So yeah, pretty nice. Wow, this is gonna be a long video. Today I am gonna give you both angles as far as when I brew this. Let me bring this over. Okay, let me set up the angles and stuff, and then we're gonna heat up the glass and all that, the rest of the stuff. All right. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using Ario V60 filters. So let's grab one out. Again, these filters they flow just fine, nice and fast, but but man, I don't know what happened with the Kalita filters that I bought. I have to look into that. The Flair 58 is heating up. By now, I could have brewed a shot a long time ago, but I have noticed that if you want everything to get really, really hot, it takes about an hour. Although you could brew a shot as quick as maybe like 7 minutes, it's ready to go. So it will be like for a medium roast or darker roast coffee, you're fine, just pull your shot. But on something light, you're gonna wanna heat it up. I imagine for at least like 30 minutes. Yeah, I got the cameras and tripods and everything set up a little bit different today. It might give you a better overhead shot, I think is what's gonna happen, but it's, for me, it's quite uncomfortable to brew in this way, but I don't know, I'm gonna try it. Okay, let's heat up and rinse the filter and heat up the brewer and the glass. Yeah, I think definitely the overhead shot like this is gonna work like a lot better. I'm not sure about the other shot. I might have been actually blocking the whole camera, but now that I think of it, maybe not. I could have been over it. I don't know. I'll pay better attention on the next time I pour. So actually, let me check now. Yeah, I could have been blocking some of it. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so water temperature is at 97. Let me dump this out. Let's reweigh this. Again, the pouring structure, I like doing 3 pours. And for this amount of coffee, I usually do 30 grams circle to 30 grams center. So 60 gram pours. And I do 3 of those for my total of 180. And it should take about 3.5 minutes for the whole process, or at least that's what I'm hoping to get. But again, I'm new with this grinder, so we'll see if we can achieve that. So let's reweigh this. I should have my 12 grams. Actually, now it's reading 12.1. So let me get the grinder out of the way. Okay, let's flatten this out. Zero the scale. And are we ready? Let me relog. I mean, this is so dark. Wow, I can't see anything there. This is really, really dark. I'm gonna have to turn on a light. Yeah, with the light on, you can see very well from the top, but I just don't like the way that the ambiance is. I don't like all this light. It doesn't, but we're gonna push forward. I want you guys to really see the brewing and what's happening here. It's our first time brewing from something we ground on the Pietro. I want you to see it well. You could see the grinds there. This is what I was telling you, very uniform noticeably more so than what I've been getting from the Duo. And, you know, the amount of fines is also noticeably less. Okay, so today we're gonna have all these lights on. That's okay. I want you guys to get a really good view there from above. And let's get this started. Let me get the kettle, start the scale. Okay, so we're going 30 grams circle to 30 grams center for the first 60 grams. I'm gonna swirl it a little bit after the second pour. And usually I wait about 35 seconds. We are at 25, give it another 10 seconds. I should have scooted the brewer a little bit farther back. It's okay. Okay, so 35 seconds and it's just barely started dripping. So now we go to 90 circle. And then we go to 120 center for the next 60 grams. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. Now we're gonna swirl. Again, I wanna slow this down because I do wanna get at least I would like to get at least 3.5 minutes. So a good swirl, that should slow it down. Again, with this grinder, it should flow faster because there are less fines. And fines is what slows down your brew. So yeah, it would make sense for this to flow faster. So I gave it a really nice swirl and we'll see what happens. Definitely slowed it down a whole bunch because now it's just trickling. We'll see what happens. Maybe I did too much swirling. Again, that's why I don't want to do the comparison on the Niche Zero just yet. I want to get more used to this grinder and the workflow and the process. Dial in the coffee very well on both grinders for the same timing so that the comparison could be apples to apples, you know. And all right, so now I can see the top of the bed there. You should be able to see it. And we are at 2 minutes. So I'm going to start with the third pour. So now we go to 150, wash the sides. And then 30 center to 180. 77, 78, 80. Okay, so 180.8, and we are at 2 minutes and 25 seconds right now. I can stop the kettle, give it one last little swirl just to flatten it out. And now we see, this is gonna go over the 3.5 minutes for sure. But it's okay, like I said, this coffee is almost impossible to over extract. As a matter of fact, the last time I brewed it, I did already try it as filter coffee. I ground it on the Niche Duo and it stalled. I was trying it again with the Kalita filters, and that's why I told you guys that I tried it again and it stalled again. Although I went coarser. I went to like as far as what's my last grind size there? Like 170, and it still stalled. But yeah, this slowed down quite a bit. I'm gonna go way over the 3 minutes. It's barely trickling. I think I swirled it too much. And again, 60 clicks. Maybe I should have stuck with the 70 clicks like I wanted to do. This is noticeably finer than what I usually grind on the Duo. Wow. Again, I don't think I did a great job of doing a pour over here, but I was shooting for like maybe 3.5 minutes, and now I'm already all the way up to 4 minutes, or getting to 4 minutes. Let me see. Okay, now it's 4 minutes, and well, I could see the top now, but we're definitely gonna go over by like a whole entire minute. With this coffee, it'll be fine, but I don't wanna excuse my poor judgment here with the calling the grind size and all that. Yeah, it's gonna go even over 4.5 minutes, because I could see the top now. It's almost all the way down, but I'm at 4.5 minutes, and This has to at least another 30 seconds to go. It'll be fine. 5 minutes, it'll be, I know, it sounds pretty crazy, but it'll be totally fine. With this coffee, that I stalled it on the April brewer with the Calita filters, and I waited like, I don't know, I waited like 7 minutes or something. It was still totally fine. I did cut out a lot of the acidity, and as a matter of fact, it was very tasty. Okay, so I'm calling it at 5 minutes. This is it, it's done. But you can see how it looks there at the bottom. It's not, let me refocus. Okay, let me refocus. You see it there at the bottom. There should be enough light for you to get a good view there. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit more. Maybe even a little bit more. There you go. I think right here you could see very well the bottom. And you could see that although I ground a bit too fine, yeah, 60 clicks is definitely not what I do with the Duo. It's more like 70 clicks perhaps. And again, I'm still getting used to the grinder, but this is very fine. And we got a 5 minute brew time for very little coffee. It's only 180 grams. But yeah, let's taste it. But there you can see it still doesn't look muddy, although it's, you know, very fine, but all right. Anyway, I did a poor job. Yes, I admit it. Let's let's taste it. That's what matters. Let me set things up. All right, so let's give it a stir. All right, so let's start by stirring it up. Obviously, it was brewing for 5 minutes. You gotta stir it. Let's taste it. Cheers. Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, this is a coffee that, again, if the acidity is quite strong for you, you're gonna have to brew something like this, like maybe like 5 minutes. Right now, I gotta say, it's delicious. It's sweeter, but it depends. It depends how much acidity you wanna get. Yeah, I did mute it quite a bit, the acidity, but it's just a sweeter cup now. Now, it's, you know, it depends what you're looking for. Yeah, it's beautiful. You can still taste, it still tastes citrus, but now it's like a sweeter citrus. Before, it was closer maybe to like grapefruits. You know, now it's closer to like oranges. Yeah, that's all I could say. So the tasting notes here, bergamot, which again is a citrus. It's usually people don't eat this citrus. It's something like limes. Melon, orange blossom, and honey. So today definitely is more balanced towards the melon, the honey, fruitier, less on the bergamot. You'll get more, today is definitely more like orange than the like closer to like a grapefruit. Yeah, definitely still citrus. Wonderful coffee. The roaster, top-notch experience so far. And in a little while, we'll pull an espresso with the other one, guess at the tasting notes. Never brewed this one, we'll open it and do our usual thing. Coffee from Rwanda. I'm trying to be careful not to read the tasting notes. But I'm gonna enjoy this, finish this up, because I drink everything that I brew on this channel. I don't brew coffee to throw away. I just can't do it. It doesn't make me feel good. There's too many people in the world struggling for me to like get any kind of coffee, really, but especially something of this kind of quality that some people can't even afford to taste in their day-to-day life. And for me to brew it and like taste it and throw it out, I don't do that. It doesn't make me feel right doing that, and just never been able to do that. I drink everything I brew here on this channel. So give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna enjoy this cup. As a matter of fact, today's a beautiful rainy day outside. I spoke to Carrie in the morning. Carrie left me a message as to the video I posted this past Friday. And well, this past Friday for me, not for you guys. For you guys, that was weeks ago. But yeah, I had posted a video. Oh, it was the blue bottle coffee. And I told Carrie that it was a Beautiful rainy day here in Miami. It's still raining outside. So you know what? Maybe I'll sit out in the balcony, drink the rest of this as it rains and just enjoy it. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes, and then for you guys, it'll just be a few seconds or just a second. And we'll pull a shot of espresso on the Flair 58 and try the other coffee and guess at the tasting notes. Give me a second. So here's the setup outside, where you guys have seen on the on the videos that I record at night. So I have my coffee right there. I'm gonna sit out here for a couple minutes and enjoy this. All right, so I just enjoyed a beautiful cup of coffee outside in the balcony. So now we're gonna open this one so we can review the Rwanda. Okay, let's cut this open. Okay, I'm gonna grind size 16, which is the same grind size that worked for the other coffee. I imagine this being very similar as far as the roast level and everything else. So I'm hoping that it works out for our blooming espresso. I've never done a blooming espresso so far on the Flair, but I imagine, if I can do a Slayer type shot, I can do a blooming shot. So we're gonna find out today. Again, when you're doing a blooming, you just want to make sure the pressure at the puck never goes to zero, because if it goes to zero, the puck can become unseated, and then you can have a bunch of channeling around the puck. You don't want that to happen. Therefore, you want to keep a little bit of pressure on the puck, at least not zero. So I'm going to start pressing on the lever. As soon as I see a couple of drips, I'm gonna hold a little bit of pressure there for the first, let's say 25 seconds, and then I'll pull the shot, hopefully for another 25 to maybe 35 seconds, something like that. Again, this coffee, if it's anything like the other one, it will be very difficult to over extract. So yeah, let me refocus. Okay, and we're gonna dose out 18 grams. $17.9, well, between $17.9 and 18. I'm gonna put one more bean. So we should be between 18 and 18.1. As far as the fragrance, okay, right off the bat, the fragrance, I did not get hit with a bunch of fragrance like the other coffee. If I had to right now pick one or the other coffee has way better fragrance. The other one really blows you away when you open it. This, I didn't get much. Maybe now after I grind it, I will. Let's see. So let me put this up in the grinder and then I'll show you guys the roast level. But it looks, to me, right now, it looks pretty much the same like the other one. Okay, so there you see the coffee. It does look very, very similar to the other coffee. Roast level looks about the same. Maybe this one could be just slightly more developed. It does look a little bit more developed than the other one. The other one's, I would say, is lighter. But yeah, let's see what we get. So we have the same grind size. We are at grind size 16 there on the niche 0. Let's start it one more time. Tap the spout, and let's see if we got our 18 grams. Okay, perfect. 18 in, 18 out. Let's do some puck prep. Okay, definitely now after I ground the coffee, I'm getting the fragrance. Yeah, it's quite lovely, very clean. Still, if I had to pick one, I would still pick the other one as having nicer fragrance. So let's fluff it up. Okay, I'm gonna put the bag off to the side so I don't run the risk of maybe seeing the tasting notes. Okay, let's Turn this off. Okay, so by now I've been recording for probably maybe even more than an hour as I've done all these things here and sat outside for a little while and all that. So my Flair 58 is definitely up to temperature. Let's do some puck prep. Here's the puck screen. It's already nice and hot. Here's the portafilter. Again, the portafilter on the Flair, I kind of actually like it better than the one that's on the Bianca. There's no condensation or anything. Go nice and slow, make sure I don't get a mess. Got a little bit of coffee stuck here on the bottom. All right, that's good. Let me bring you guys in a little bit closer. Bring you in right here for the rest of the puck prep. Dosing ring and a little WDT. Oh, you know what? The next video that I record, maybe I'm gonna do a Friday video. You guys, who knows? You might have even seen it before this video because, you know, my Friday videos and my Sunday videos are not running on the same timeline. I think I have more Sunday videos ready than the Friday videos, so perhaps you already saw it. But as of me recording this, I have never pulled dark roast on the Flair 58. But by now, maybe you already saw that video because my intention is to, my next video that I record on the Flair 58, I want it to be a dark roast. I want to see what happens pulling dark roast on the Flair 58. Funny enough, I always end up struggling with dark roast a lot more than the light stuff. This usually goes pretty much according to plan. Anyway, today I'm gonna use for the first time on the Flair 58 my iCape tools. Thank you to iCape for sending these out. This is the distributor, and now that I have one, I always use it. Again, do I think this is a must? No. For the longest time, all I did was WDT and just tamp. Now, I did record recently a video that you should have seen by now where I talked about how important is puck prep, you know, whether you should do WDT, distribute, tamp, all three things. And wow, I did not think it was as important as it turned out to be. And on that video, oh my God, if you haven't seen it, check that video out. Comment below, I can provide you with a link to it if you haven't seen it, but it turned out to be a lot more important than even I imagined. So yeah, I didn't expect the results to be what it turned out to be. Again, this is calibrated to 30 PSI. Drop the puck screen. Let me lock this in, set up the angles, and then we'll pull the shot. All right, so I should have all the cameras running. Let's start the scale. Again, let me center this. Today I'm running this. Let's see, do I have the automatic espresso function? No, I do not. Okay, good. I didn't want that. Today I'm starting the scale myself because I'm doing a blooming shot. And my idea is to kind of use both scales. As soon as I start lifting this up, the water drops onto the puck and the coffee starts to be saturated. So at that moment, I'll start this scale because that's when our blooming actually starts. But I'll be like 15 seconds into the process before I even apply pressure. So once I start applying pressure and I get a couple of drops, I will bloom for maybe, let's plan another 15 seconds, let's say, because so far only the top of the coffee's been saturated. And then, you know, after about 30 seconds, I'll start pressing down, pulling the shot, go to about 7-8 bars for hopefully another like 30 seconds. So this should end up being about a minute long shot, maybe just over a minute long. And yeah, let's see what we get from it. So, all right. So the workflow on the Flair 58, first you fill this up, but if this is all the way down, the water will not land on the coffee. It won't be on the puck. So again, all of this is so hot, you can hear it boiling. Okay. Okay, you want to bring that all the way up. And now I'm going to start the time. I'm going to pull up Now the water lands on the coffee. And now you want to top off. You want to top this. And you want to shake it a little bit. You want to get the air out. Okay, it looks like I don't have any air in there. If not, it feels really mushy. So it's already like 30 seconds, but I am explaining all of this. So I'm gonna start, let me see, I'm gonna start to press down until I see some drops. Okay, now I'm gonna let off, but I don't want it to go to 0. I'm gonna do a few more seconds here. Okay, I'm a minute into it, and now is when I'm gonna actually start pulling the shot. Let's see. So let's take it into the red espresso zone. I'm looking for 45 grams out. Right in the middle of the red zone there. That's about 7 bar. Okay, I went a little over, 46.3. 22 seconds from when I was actually, putting in pressure. But the shot has been running for about a minute and 20 seconds. But as you saw, about a minute of that time, at first the coffee's just barely getting saturated on top. Then I actually, bloomed the shot for another few more seconds. So let's see what we get from this. I mean, is it picture perfect what I was trying to do? No, because again, the workflow on this is just really slow. If I start the time when I pull the lever up, then by the time I top it off and actually start the process, maybe I should start after that. I know that a lot of people don't count the time when the water's just on top of the puck of coffee, but I think you should. When I noticed that this, wow, okay, wait a minute. I should have left this up. Okay, let me get this out of there. Now I have a few more grams in here. I have 50 grams. All right, so I started talking and didn't notice. Again, I'm still learning the Flair 58. I'm for sure not an expert or anything. Get this out of the way. I put this in here. All right, hold on. I like to keep it tidy. Let's do this. Now you have to kind of purge this and get this water out. You're gonna end up with a really dry puck once you do this. Once you do this, it's really nice and dry. It's being held up like this because there's air in it, but in a few seconds, it's gonna go down and you're gonna end up with a really nice dry puck. Let me stop one of the cameras. Okay, I'm gonna taste this in a second. Let me take it over to the other counter and set the camera back up there. All right, I have to say today I didn't really do a great job with either the filter coffee or the espresso. Now the end result of my filter coffee was excellent. It was great. It was the sweetest cup I've ever gotten from that coffee. Again, you're sacrificing a bit on the acidity, but it just depends what you're looking for. I could have it either way. Today's cup was beautiful. The ones with higher acidity that I've had before were also beautiful. So, all right, so cheers. Let's try the espresso. Wow, way different than the other coffee. I'm just gonna go out there and say, way different. The fact that I have 50 grams in here, it's perfect. This is lovely. It's a beautiful shot of espresso. I do have to say, the Flair today did an excellent job. Although I didn't do a great job, but the end result ended up being great. Both the filter coffee and the shot of espresso, I tasted it once, but right away. It's just got such great flavor. This is awesome. Wow, way different coffee. The flavor profile of this coffee, I actually prefer this one. At least as espresso, I gotta try it as filtered. The flavor profile itself, I like this better. It's fruitier. Would I say citrus on this one? No. On this one, I am gonna go with like fruitier notes. Definitely, wow, there's something there. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something unique to this coffee. and I'm finding like really nice. You know, if you've never had a citrusy coffee, it's worth definitely checking out the Ethiopian. But this Rwanda, wow, it's closer to the Kenyan coffees that I've been having this year, which have been just outstanding. Which, by the way, I think the next coffee we're gonna review is gonna be a Good Brothers coffee, because they came out with a Kenyan coffee, and I think I ordered it. As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, I gotta get this. And I ordered the Good Brothers Kenyan. I think that's the next coffee we're gonna review. And yeah, but wow, this is something like that, fruity, more what I'm looking for, okay? Fruitier, berry tartness up front, and this one has a particular flavor that, let me see if I can identify what I'm looking for. The aroma is also, I would say, nicer than the fragrance. So the wet smell is nicer than the dry smell of the coffee. The first coffee, the first one I reviewed, definitely has a nicer fragrance. It smells better than this one, period. But flavor profile of this one, I actually like this one better. Man, there's something particular about this coffee that I don't think I've ever had before. It's funny, I've tried so many coffees now, and you still find something new that you're like, wow, there's something different here. This is spectacular. I don't know what it is though. There's something here. Okay. I'm gonna say salted caramel, definitely fruitier coffee, some berry tartness up front. You know, I never know what kind of berries, but if I had to push come to shove, you made me pick one, I will go with the currants again, the little tart currants. Whether it's red currants or black currants or any kind of currants, I don't know. I don't even know if it's currants. This berryness, I would not say citrus. This is a lot more fruitier of a coffee with like a salted caramel and something else that I don't know. But I expect when I read the tasting notes to see something maybe different in this coffee that I haven't seen before. That's what I'm guessing. The flavor profile of this coffee, I actually like better. You know, I enjoy citrusy coffees, but I do tend to like more the fruitier coffees, like tropical fruit, things like that. Could this be tropical fruit? Maybe. It's very fruity. What kind of fruits? You know, I don't know. I would say the currants, fruity notes, perhaps maybe tropical fruit, maybe. And maybe some salted caramel. All right, that's what I'm going with. Let's see what the bag says. I wonder how I did today. Let's take a look. All right, so here it is. Let me back it up a little bit and let me refocus. All right, what do we have? Rwanda. Red Bourbon single variety lot. All right, so what do we have? Apple, kiwi, blood orange, toffee, and wow, what is that last word? I'm not even gonna try to say that. It says classic washed raised beds. I think the other one was also classic washed raised beds. I don't even know where I left the bag, but I think the other one, that part was the same. So apple and kiwi. You know, I don't know if I've seen kiwi before. Maybe that's what I'm noticing. Now, blood orange I have seen, and that would point to the fact that this coffee would have some citrus notes. I am not getting that this time. I'm getting definitely fruitier notes. The apple kiwi combination maybe is what I'm tasting. Let's try again. I wouldn't say kiwi, but apple, yeah, maybe perhaps apple. Toffee. Now toffee, could that be like caramel? I mean, toffees come in all kinds of different flavors. I don't know, at least the toffee I've seen, there's all kinds. Okay, let's pause for a second. Although I have seen a wide variety of toffees, most toffee is caramel based. A lot of the ones I've seen are salted and with nuts included, almonds, peanuts, etc. So I guess what I'm tasting as far as caramel is pretty much on par with toffee. As far as the other tasting note here, the word that I did not recognize or didn't even know how to read, it looks like it's pronounced rhubarb, and it's a type of vegetable. Although it is a vegetable, it is sometimes associated with fruits because it is used in desserts, in some kinds of pies. But it says that it's somewhat bitter in taste, and it's not something that I would recognize or something that I know of. But really, I'm not getting any kind of bitterness from this coffee, so I don't know. The way I brewed it is a lot sweeter. Definitely toffee and apples, if anything, would be, again, like red apples or some kind of sweet apples. And that is more like what I'm tasting. Definitely not getting any kind of bitterness, so this rhubarb would definitely not be something that I would recognize here in this coffee. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen all sorts of toffee. But if you're talking about like a caramel, then yes, I'm fully on board with that. And this, I'm gonna look it up, put it here on the screen what it is, but I don't even know what that is. So I don't even know how to pronounce that word. So apple and kiwi, wow, would I have said that? I don't know. I'm going with fruity notes, maybe even like some tropical fruits. So apple and kiwi, that's definitely not tropical. Okay, if it's apple, it's definitely like a red kind of apple, like a sweeter kind of apple. Definitely not like a Granny Smith. This is not that level of tartness at all. Kiwi, perhaps, I don't know. I would never have guessed that. So I don't know. I don't know what this is. If this is some kind of tropical fruit, then maybe I did better than I thought. Just like last time where I did a lot better than what I was thinking. So the toffee, okay. Instead of caramel toffee, okay, I'm on board. As far as blood orange, no. Blood oranges are tart. They are usually, at least the ones I've tried, not as sweet as like navel oranges, for example, which are very sweet. Still, they're sweet, but not as sweet. You know, it's just a very well-balanced shot and sweeter than the notes indicate. Because I don't know what this is. Yeah, definitely I would be on board with the toffee for sure. Everything else, I'm not sure. Maybe red apples. If it would say red apples, I would be on board. So red apples and toffee, the kiwi, blood orange, and whatever this is, maybe I'm on board or not, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this this shot of espresso and let you guys go right here, because this video is gonna take me forever to edit. It's gonna probably be over an hour long, and hopefully you guys had some fun. You know, I didn't do a great job of like what I was looking for from the blooming shot or the filter coffee, but the outcome was great. Both the filter coffee and the shot of espresso ended up ridiculously good. Yeah, so blooming shots on the Flair 58, it's actually really easy. The only thing is that I think from now on, I think I'm gonna start timing my shots from after I finish topping it off. Because the whole time that you're doing all of that, the water's just barely sitting on the top of the puck. It hasn't even penetrated through the puck. When I started adding the pressure and completely saturating the puck, then is when really my bloom starts. And I probably kept it going for like 20 seconds there, and then another 20 seconds with the pool, like 40 seconds. The rest of the time was just the water was just sitting on top of the puck. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do moving forward. What do you guys think? Yeah, again, I'm still learning the Flair 58. This is like my 5th video recording on the Flair 58, and off of videos, I've only used it once or twice. So almost everything that I've done on the Flair 58, I've recorded for you guys. So I'm really enjoying the machine. Again, the cleanup and all of that stuff is so easy. This is like the easiest thing ever. And really what you could do with it for the money, this, wow, it's hard to beat. It is hard to beat. Anyway, you guys comment below drop in to say hello. Ollie, as of now, I haven't heard from you, buddy, for a while. As of me recording this video, I haven't heard from you. I hope you're doing well. I miss you in the comments. Again, I hope you're doing well, bud. Thank you for all of you that have been showing your support here. As of me recording this video, Kent just sent me some coffee. Kent is in Norway. He's our friend here in Norway. He sent me some, I believe, Norwegian coffees from roasters in Norway. And I can't wait to receive them and review them here on the channel. I think the very next thing is gonna be the coffee from Good Brothers. After that, maybe I'll have the coffee from Kent and we can, that's gonna be fun. He's gonna send me the tasting notes on a separate email, which I plan not to read until I record the video, and then I'll read it and then report as to what the tasting notes really are after I have a chance to guess at them. But yeah, thank you, Ken. I really appreciate it. He's a true coffee hobbyist. What else? Let me say hi to Nikki P. I've been talking a lot to Nikki P. To Tony, he makes videos as well. Nikki P, Tony, and Tate from Coffee Showcase, they all make videos. Check them out. I'm glad to see Jay back. He was missing in action for a little while, and I was really worried. He had gotten sick, and wow, it really did have me worried. And I don't even know Jay in person, but I get to know some of you guys, and like I really feel like, like I know you guys. And when something's going on wrong, I do feel your pain. As a matter of fact, I have had to deal with some pain recently, and maybe we'll talk about it. It's the reason why I had to do those unedited videos, like 3 of them. Maybe we'll talk about that, but whatever, it's now in the past. But maybe one of these days we'll talk about it. Anyway, this clip keeps running longer and longer, but I did want to say hello to some people. So yeah, Jay, I'm glad to see Jay back. Who else? I know I'm missing. I was gonna say someone else. I'm missing somebody. New Forest Explorer, our friend Nick. He's in the UK. He also makes videos and he's on Instagram. Check him out. But yeah, there's I've built this little community, man, and I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And yep, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.